What's up, guys? It is Brandon from the Two-Piece Mandem, and welcome back to another Premier League prediction week 24, ladies and gentlemen. Another one, week 24, and pretty much the Premier League has been mad this season, like freaking heck. Even the weekend. Let's look back at week 23, right? Look at the amount of draws that happened over the weekend. The amount of draws. It's very ridiculous. It's just bare draws. I honestly thought there'll be loads of wins. There'll be 3-0s. There'll be 4-0s. Man, it's Premier League. It's just mixed up. It's matched up. Everything about it. It's the most unpredictable league going, and that's why we all love it. And before I even get into it, make sure you click the like button. We also want to get to 20 likes, because obviously in the last 2 videos we've been hitting 15 likes, so thank you guys for that. So let's see if we can hit 20, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button as well. All right, we want to get to 2K by the end of 2020, so I really appreciate it if you clicked that subscribe button, right? Smash it, and make sure you turn on notification bells as well. All right, now we're gonna go into the first flipping game, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Bournemouth versus Brighton. Now, obviously I wasn't able to watch the Bournemouth game, so instead I obviously watched the highlights of it. Yeah, another crap performance from them. I saw, Cook's handball. I think he was obviously trying to get the ball away from the goal. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, why would you put your hand up? Like, number one, there's a possibility that it won't go in. You just have to pray. And number two, you just put your team down to 10 men. And they got a penalty from it, and Timu Pukki scored it. So obviously now I'm thinking, why are you gonna put your hand up? It's just dumb. It's just absolutely stupid. And Bournemouth right now, their form is just so shocking. That's absolutely ridiculous, man. Like, I can't remember the last time he won a game. I swear Callum Wilson hasn't even scored a goal in in his last 14 Premier League games. That says something, man. Like, this team's gonna get relegated. I don't care what anyone says, right? This team is just gonna get relegated, right? They're playing like absolute arse. All right, and I don't even see them getting a result against Brighton. And speaking of Brighton, good goal from Trossard. Obviously, he's on my FIFA team, so I'm going to big up Trossard. But still, it was a good goal from Trossard with his left foot. Scored with his left foot from a very, very tight angle, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very tight angle. And it was a good finish. I ain't going to lie, but Villa's defending was shocking at times. Yeah, but that's classic Villa. What do you expect after getting, pummeled 6-1? Yeah, but they did concede a goal from, was it Jack Grealish? It was a very good finish from him, by the way. But I think Brighton were very, very unlucky to actually get 3 points at their home ground. They had a chance from, Mupe as well, but he missed because it was a good save from Pepe Reina. So, yeah, if I'm honest with you, I have more hope in Brighton getting the 3 points than I do in Bournemouth, because Bournemouth's form is horrendous. The team's low on confidence. There's really no chemistry. There's no vibe at Bournemouth, let's be honest with you. It looks like Eddie Howe's going to be out the door. So for this one, I'm going to say Brighton 0. Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2. I just feel as though Brighton will clock them at the home ground. Bournemouth have been playing like absolute ass this season, so I don't really see a lot coming from Bournemouth, if I'm honest with you. So yeah. Moving on to the next game. Aston Villa versus Watford. Now, obviously, we saw Aston Villa. I talked about them in my last Premier League prediction, how they got pummeled 6-1 and the way they got pummeled 6-1. Now we're going to talk about this one, how they first Brighton and they got a draw from that. I feel as though they really needed to win because they're still desperately in the relegation zone. You can tell that this team relies on Jack Grealish so much that it's actually ridiculous. Like, if he gets injured, then it's just peak times for Villa. I don't know who's going to step up if Jack Grealish gets injured, because all the pressure is on him, and he has to pretty much perform in every single game for Villa to even get a point or to get a goal. Like, let's just be honest. Like, he's their only creative playmaker. But I'll give credit where credit is due. Big up Jack Grealish for that finish. That was a masterclass of a finish with his left foot. It was absolutely brilliant. You have to pick up Jack Grealish. He's literally he's one of the best players in the Premier, if I'm honest with you. One of the best, if I'm honest with you. I rank him 10th or something like that in the Prem. One of my top 10 Premier League players this season. I rank him at number 10 because he's helped Villa so much. He's literally carried this team so much that it's ridiculous. And you understand why he's actually the captain of the squad. And when you look at Watford now, they're against Spurs, who drew 0-0. Who they drew 0-0 against, and I was quite surprised because Tottenham haven't been playing as well as they should have. Jose Mourinho's team haven't been performing as they should have. I mean, before the Watford game, the versus Liverpool, I think it was harsh because they actually should have got a result from that, but they didn't. They didn't take their chances. They made lots of chances, but ultimately they weren't able to bloody take them. So crap times for Mourinho. But looking at Watford, you can tell how much the team's improved ever since the manager's come in. Deeney has been on form. He's been scoring goals. Sarr has been on form. Deulofeu, Doucouré has been really, really solid in that midfield. So you can obviously see how Watford have changed and how they're starting to get results. And I'm telling you now, the game's at Villa Park. It's going to be a very, very tough game for Aston Villa to actually get a result against this Watford team because they have improved a lot. They've got that manager momentum. So, Villa just have to really, really be wary of that. And if I'm honest with you, I don't really see... What would I predict for this? I don't see Villa getting the points. Personally, I don't see Villa getting the points. I think Watford have a bit too much quality for Villa, if I'm honest with you. Whereas Watford don't really rely on one person. Like, for example, they don't just rely on Deeney. They rely on Doucouré. They rely on Sarr. They have Deulofeu. They've got options, basically. As if Aston Villa, they don't have any options. All they have is Jack Grealish. So if I'm honest with you, the score for this game, I'm going to say Aston Villa 1, Watford 2. I just see Watford clarting them, if I'm being honest with you. So, yeah, or Watford scoring in the last minute because Villa have a tendency, to bustle it in the 90th minute, like we did against Newcastle. But I'll get onto that shortly. But yeah, like I said, don't really see Aston Villa getting a point there. Next game, Crystal Palace versus Southampton, ladies and gentlemen. Crystal Palace versus Southampton. Now, fair play to Crystal Palace for getting a point at the Etihad because everyone knows how hard it is to even get a win there. Well, Man United obviously got a win, but with Crystal Palace and the players that they have, it's hard. It was hard for them to get a point there. But Crystal Palace are known to take away points from the big teams, mainly away, as we've seen at was it Old Trafford. It's just one of those things. Crystal Palace in that game, obviously, who scored the goal for Crystal Palace? It was obviously, who was it? Toussaint. It was, let's be honest, it was poor defending from Man City, but it was a well-worked set-piece play from Crystal Palace when you look at it. Because obviously now when you look at it, they crossed the ball into Gary Cahill at the back post. Gary Cahill won the header, and it was just easy for Toussaint, so you just put it in. But then the last goal, when was it? Man City were winning 2-1. It was a deflection from Fernandinho, but it was world-class play from Wilfred Zaha, so you have to give it to them. I think Crystal Palace this season defensively are amazing, but in set pieces they've done really well. I think with the use of Zaha, just running around the box, taking on defenders one-on-one is going to be a real outlet for them. If I'm honest with you, I feel as though Crystal Palace can nick a point at Selhurst Park against the Southampton team because let's look at Southampton before they had their manager. They were the absolute arse. I think we all remember the 9-0 domination that they had against Leicester City. But then when they versed Leicester City, they beat them 2-1. And that's mainly because of the mentality, how the team play, and also Danny Ings and how he's on form. So I saw Southampton in the last game. I think they were very, very unlucky, if I'm honest with you. I don't believe it was a penalty for Wolves. When Jota got fouled? I think Jota was actually going down anyway, if I'm honest with you. And as soon as he was going down, he still got a little bit of contact. So it wasn't really that much of a penalty. But obviously now, that's VAR for you, and it just screwed over Southampton. So, yeah, it's simple as that. But Southampton's first goal was very good. To be fair, it just fell to the person at the back post. It just happened to fall to him, and he just had the composure to finish it. It was a Benerick. And who else? Very, very good header from Shane Long as well, 2-0 up. But I think they just bottled it and lacked composure in the second half, bringing Wolves back into the game. Realistically, the game should have been 2-2. But obviously now the penalty counted and Raheem has just slots in the back of the net. It's going to be very, very tough for Crystal Palace when Southampton do come to Selhurst Park, I'm not going to lie. So for this one, I think it's going to be a very, very cagey game. There will be goals, but I'm going to say this. Crystal Palace 2, Southampton 2. I think it'll just be a point each. I don't really see any of these any teams getting the win. Maybe one of the teams will score at the last minute. Who honestly knows? It depends if their defence is up for it. It depends who's going to be there in the lineup. We'll just have to wait and see, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, that's my score prediction. Moving on to the next match at Bramall Lane, which I think is going to be a very, very tough game for this team. It's going to be Sheffield United versus Manchester City at Bramall Lane. And fair play to Sheffield United for getting a point against Arsenal. Actually, no, not fair play to them. They probably should have actually won the game because I know like Arsenal's form and the way they're playing. But Sheffield United, they've proven this season, they've proven time and time again that they are a very, very tough team to break down and get points against. And you can just tell the way the whole team play, their overlapping centre-backs, McBurney, Muse, the way every single one of these players play, you can tell. You can just tell the passion and desire that they show for the team and how they didn't give up. Fleck's goal against Arsenal was absolutely remarkable. I felt as though the Arsenal defenders did give Fleck too much space and time to execute that shot. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's realistically, they shouldn't have actually given him time, but fair play to him because the execution from Fleck was absolutely remarkable. Hits it into the ground, and there was too much spin and pace and topspin on the ball for Leno to even get a hand on it. And that's why it just goes straight into the top corner. So, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. So, fair play to Sheffield United in the way they played. I think they should have actually scored a goal earlier when the cross went into the ball in the first half from Muse. He missed an easy header. We're going to talk about Manchester City as well, how, you know, they're obviously not going to win the league this season. I think everyone freaking knows that these guys aren't going to win this season. I think for Manchester City, they've really missed Laporte. Fernandinho is just not a centre-back. I think they need to... if I was them, I would have bought a centre-back this January transfer. I would have signed a world-class centre-back. If not a world-class, a decent centre-back at least. Because Fernandinho it's just not doing that centre-back. It's weird for a defensive midfielder to play at centre-back. Let's be honest with you, right? It's just not going to happen. It can happen, but it's not like a natural switch. It just takes lots and lots of time. And you can see that by the last goal which Man City conceded and they got a point from. But it was good play from, Man City to actually get back into the game and make it 2-1. Sergio Aguero again, who has now scored more goals than Thierry Henry and Frank Lampard, ladies and gentlemen. He's there in the history books. He's there in the history books. My man could overtake Alan Shearer for all we freaking know, if I'm honest with you, because Aguero's just been banging in goals left, right, and centre. And it's peak because I actually read in a newspaper how sometimes he doesn't actually get the credit he deserves. Everyone's like, oh, because it's Aguero, he should be scoring this, he should be scoring that. But Aguero has actually done a madness, if I'm honest with you. Aguero has banged in so many goals in crucial moments of the game and has scored at least 30 goals a season. So he's up there with the Premier League greats, if I'm honest with you. He's up there. Like, no one can actually deny that. No one can say that Aguero isn't up there, all right? Because he is. He is up there. He is in history. He's one of the best, all right? And for Manchester City, I think it's going to be very, very tough for them to verse. It's very, very tough for Man City to play against Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. I think that's going to be very, very tough for them, and especially the way Sheffield United play, the way they set up, the way they press the opposition with no fear. They press them, they play with passion and desire. It's going to be very, very hard for Manchester City to break the team down and get the points there. So, in my opinion, I think Sheffield United will do them. So, I'm going to say Sheffield United 2, Manchester City 1. I think it'll be a lapse in concentration from one of the centre-backs in Manchester City. And I think McBurney or Muse will take advantage of that and score against Manchester City, maybe at the start, maybe in the 93rd or 94th minute. Who honestly knows, but I just feel as though Sheffield United will get the win. Right, moving on to the next game, Everton versus Newcastle. Now, we're going to talk about Everton first before I even get on to Newcastle. So, with Everton, getting a point against West Ham, and from Everton's point of view, their defending from set-piece plays was absolutely appalling. The way they let that West Ham centre-back Dope or whatever his name is, get a header and just beat Jordan Pickford. Was it at the back post? Like I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. It was just horrible setup. There was no organisation from Everton when it came to defending that set piece. However, from their own set piece from a corner. It was a very, very good from Everton when Calvert-Lewin actually scored that header to make it 1-1. I think it was a very, very well worked set piece from Everton. And I feel as though from Everton, they're slowly getting into it. They're slowly getting into the Premier League. I don't know where they'll specifically finish. Their play is sometimes a bit slow. I think they have to play with two strikers up front, I'd say, with Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, because they've both got pace. So for Everton, really, if I'm honest with you, I felt as though they should have got more from that, because David Moyes' West Ham isn't amazing, but they're not amazing, but like they're not that bad. So I honestly felt as though Everton would actually get a result at the Olympic Stadium there, but obviously they didn't. Talking about Newcastle now, I'll give it to them. I'm not going to cuss them off. I'll give it to them, right? When you look at the statistics, right? Chelsea had more possession than Newcastle, and Newcastle defended absolutely remarkably. They closed us down. Whenever we got into their final third, they just closed up shop. They closed up shop. I think there was like at least 3 or 4 men in front of one of our players, so we weren't going anywhere. They really closed us down. They defended really, really well. Dubravka was on it. He made some excellent saves. The defence played amazing for Newcastle. I think the only outlets really were Almiron and Saint-Maximin. And there was a chance for Joe Linton when, I think, the Newcastle right back or centre back crossed it into him and he hit the post. He hasn't been scoring a lot of goals as lately. He's been struggling to actually score goals. I think he scored 1 goal in his last 13 or 14 games for Newcastle. Who honestly knows? He hasn't been banging in goals for them at all. I think Andy Carroll has another hip injury as well, so it was very, very unfortunate for them. But in the end, they got the win. And it was very, very frustrating because they barely had any shots on target. And it was just an easy header for Isaac Hayden. It was just an easy header for Isaac Hayden, and he just scored it, and they just got the 3 points. And I think for Everton, when Newcastle do come to Goodison Park, it's going to be very, very tough for Everton, because Newcastle are going to set up so defensively. They're probably going to play on the counter attack. They're going to watch out for Almiron, Saint-Maximin, John Joe Shelvey as well. Very, very key players. I think Williams is out as well, so it's going to be quite hard for Newcastle because Williams is out. So Everton have to defend, perfectly. Their defense has to be decent. But I feel as though for this one, it's going to be very tough for Everton. I don't really see them getting the point, if I'm being genuinely honest with you. So for this one, I'm going to say Everton 1, Newcastle 2. I feel as though Newcastle will nick the win as they did against us. I think they will defend very, very well. The 2 Newcastle centre-backs have to watch out for Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison if he is going to start in that game. I think the main threat for Everton is Gylfi Sigurdsson. Main threat for Newcastle, like I said, is Almiron, Saint-Maximin, and John Joe Shelvey. I think they're the 3 key players, so we just have to wait and see. Now, moving on to the next game. I'm going to actually leave this big game to last. Leicester City versus West Ham. Now, look at Leicester's performance against Burnley. I felt as though they could have won the game, and actually should have won the game. But obviously now, Jamie Vardy missing that penalty. But actually, no, first of all, we're going to comment on the first goal from Leicester City. It was a very, very good goal from Harvey Barnes, but it was shocking defending from Burnley. It was absolutely shocking defending from Burnley. The way he just let Barnes just, run around him. He didn't even put a tackle in. He didn't really contain him that much. He just didn't really do anything. And it was quite an easy finish for Harvey Barnes. I felt as though the keeper, Nick Pope, could have saved that shot as well. But, it is what it is. It was a good response from Burnley for them to come back. But I think for Leicester City, the way they let in that second goal was just horrendous, if I'm honest with you. I mean, the first goal, Schmeichel got a hand to it. I think, with the first goal, actually, it was just very, very poor defending. Because obviously now, we know Burnley are very, very good from set pieces. And Burnley basically just hit it like the back post, and for someone to just get their head on it. And it was just hard for Schmeichel to really keep it out. So he just got a slight hand to it, and it just fell to wood. And I think that was just poor from Leicester. I think this season, right, they were in such like a comfortable winning run. And now I think they're just starting to dip a little bit and start to drop points and lose games. And that's not so much like Leicester. So I kind of want to see how Brendan Rodgers' team actually reacts to it. Are they going to continue the losing streak? Are they going to, get up for that losing streak? Like, how are they going to perform against West Ham? I think they'll perform better than what they did against Burnley, if I'm honest with you. Jamie Vardy's penalty was dreadful, if I'm honest with you, because let's be honest, everyone knew that he was going to go to the bottom right, and it was just easy for Nick Pope. So, you know what I mean? It was just easy for him. I feel as though for West Ham, of course, letting in that, like I said before, for West Ham, letting in that goal from Everton, I think it was just shocking defending. I think West Ham, this January transfer, needs to go out and just sign some centre-backs to really strengthen that defence line. I feel as though Mark Noble and Huller aren't really doing it. Well, Huller's not really doing it. I think Mark Noble is just so key for West Ham, if I'm honest with you. So if Mark Noble does get injured, then it's going to be tough for West Ham to really get anything. Felipe Anderson, very, very vital for West Ham. So I don't know how Leicester City are going to do at the King Power Stadium against West Ham. I feel as though they will dominate most of the ball, but it depends how West Ham set up. If they set up defensively, then it's going to be very, very tough for Leicester City to break them down and for Jamie Vardy to also get in behind. I feel as though West Ham, their main threat, if I'm honest with you, is Felipe Anderson. And yeah, that's basically what it is. I think the only way they're going to score is from a set piece. So for this one, I've actually, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Leicester City 3, West Ham 1. I don't see West Ham getting a result there. I see them getting a goal, probably at like the 95th minute or some bullshit like that. And I just see Leicester City really just hammering them, if I'm honest with you. They're just going to hammer them 3-1. So yeah, because let's be honest, Leicester City's quality is just way better than West Ham. So let's just be honest with you. Right, moving on to the next game, which is Tottenham versus Norwich. Tottenham versus Norwich, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that the last time these two faced each other at Carrow Road, Tottenham obviously got a draw, and it was poor, really. They actually should have won against a team that's literally, practically bottom of the table, Norwich. With Tottenham, I don't know what's happening to them. And yeah, again, they drew 0-0 against Watford. So it's quite shocking for Mourinho's team. I don't know if he's lost the heads of them. Harry Kane, obviously injured, so that's a big loss for them. They have a number of injuries. I think they have Dembele injured. I think they have, who else? Musa Sissoko injured. They've got lots of injuries, so it's very, very tough for Tottenham to actually get anything from these games. They really have to rely on Lucas Moura, Heung-min Son, Dele Alli. I think Heung-min Son is the real outlet for them, if I'm honest with you. He has to perform. If he doesn't perform, then, it's just peak for Tottenham. And when he got that red card, it obviously made a massive impact in their matches. So yeah, I think it's going to be very, very... It should be easy for Watford. For Tottenham, but God knows how Norwich are going to set up. I think they're going to set up the way they set up against Bournemouth and how they won that game. But overall, let's be honest, Spurs should win this. I just see Spurs winning it. I don't really see Norwich really getting anything from this game and how they've been playing as well. I mean, if they can keep getting the ball to count well and Timu Pukki, then maybe they can make something happen. But they can't really compete against Tottenham, if I'm honest with you. So for this one, I'm going to say Tottenham 4, Norwich 2. I don't really see anything from Norwich really to actually, get a point against Tottenham. So yeah, I'm just going to put it like that. Moving on to the next game, Manchester United versus Burnley. Now we're going to talk about Burnley's performance first before we go on to Manchester United. Burnley, shout out to them for the way they played against Leicester City. The first goal was obviously shocking, but then the way they got back, an easy tap in for Wood, and a goal from Westwood as well. I think it was a very, very good goal from Westwood, and the way the Burnley team came back and the way the crowd just cheered them on, it was absolutely remarkable. And they got the win, and fair play to them because they needed that win after we smacked them 3-0. And since VAR has been going against Sean Dyche's team a lot, it's been very, very tough for his team. It's been very, very tough for the players, and so for them to get a win against a Leicester City team that's currently, I think, third in the table, it's a very, very good result for them at Turf Moor. So you know what I mean? It's very, very good. So shout out to them. We're going to talk about Manchester United now. And you know what? They played well. They actually played quite decent. Let's be honest, right? It's against a Liverpool team that haven't lost this season. Man United are the only team to actually take a point away from them. I think with the game that they played against Liverpool at Anfield, First half, they got absolutely slaughtered. I think Liverpool's intensity and quality just shone, and Man United really couldn't get the ball up to them. I think first 2 or 5 minutes of the game, first 5 or 10 minutes of the game, Manchester United were on Liverpool. They were pressing at them. They were really taking it to Liverpool, because I think Ali said that you can't allow Liverpool to just steamroll over you and make you look like a piece of poo. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Like, you can't allow Liverpool to steamroll you and press you from the get-go. You have to do that yourself. And the first goal, obviously, from Virgil van Dijk, put the ball in the back of the net. I think some United heads dropped, but not fully. I think second half, they were so much better. They had much more of the ball. They were really pressing Liverpool all the way up until the 89th minute. And that chance for Martial, that was the chance. He should have scored that. Anthony Martial should have scored that. And I think to myself, if Marcus Rashford was on the pitch, would he have scored that? But unfortunately, he's not, because obviously he's got a back injury and he's going to be out until April. So it's going to be very, very hard for Manchester United. He's a key player for Manchester United. Such a key player, such a key striker. And once Martial and Rashford link up, there's going to be goals galore. Mason Greenwood tried to do something as well as he came on. So did Juan Mata as well. But nothing really happened. Just Liverpool's quality shone through when Mo Salah tucked it into the back of the net. I think the 89th or 90th minute, when Daniel James tried his best to trap back and stop Mo Salah, but it just didn't work. I think Man United will get a result against Burnley. I think they will beat Burnley. So yeah, for this one, I'm going to say Manchester United 3, Burnley 0. It's going to be very, very tough because Burnley set up so defensively, and those defenders are the way Burnley's set up, and they're just absolute bastards to face. I know that from experience. They're absolute bastards to face. So yeah, but I do see Manchester United getting the win from that. I don't really see them losing against Burnley. So yeah. Right, next game. Wolves versus Liverpool. Now, another heroic comeback from Wolves. Just like they did against Manchester City, they were 2 goals down. They come back and win the game 3-2. And you got to give a shout out to Raul Jimenez and Adama Traore. First of all, we're going to talk about the first goal. It was a very, very good goal from, I think, Neto. Obviously, he controlled the ball. I honestly thought at first that it hit his hand, but really it just hit his stomach. I think Southampton players gave him too much time to turn, which I thought was stupid. And when you give him time to turn, he just slots it into the back of the net. So that was a very good goal from them. I think the second goal wasn't really a penalty, if I'm honest with you, but either way, VAR gave the decision that it was, and it was a cool, calm penalty from Raul Jimenez. It was a calm penalty from Raul Jimenez, as you could see. Like it was a very, very good goal. And then the final goal, when Adama Traore was onside, the way he held off the defender, he had the strength to just hold him off and muscle him off, and just have the vision to see Raul Jimenez, lay out to Raul Jimenez, and Raul Jimenez to score a beauty of a goal at the last minute. Just fair play to Wolves and fair play to them for getting that result. I think the 2 goals they conceded were a bit crap, but at the end of the day, they got the win. So fair play to them. Liverpool, magnificent in the first half. A very good header from Virgil van Dijk to make a 1-0 to Liverpool. Van Dijk's just been undoubtedly the best defender in the freaking Premier League. Like, let's just be honest with you. He's been world class. And then the second goal from Mohamed Salah to hold off Daniel James and beat David De Gea from that. It was just world class. Liverpool overall were absolutely amazing. But up till the second half, because they were a little bit sloppy, the fans were a bit nervous as well. But overall, their play, I'm going to talk about the midfield. Wijnaldum, I think he was brilliant as well. The way he was controlling the midfield, where he was passing it. Oxlade-Chamberlain as well. He's improved so much after leaving Arsenal. I swear that every single player that leaves Arsenal just improves and becomes better. That's literally what I'm saying. I think they achieve more once they've left Arsenal. So I think that's what Aubameyang needs to do. If he really wants to get somewhere, or like win, a Champions League, or win a Premier League title. If I'm honest with you, Aubameyang just leave Arsenal. And yeah, I think Liverpool, they just played absolutely amazing in that game, and it just goes to show. So yeah, for this one, I'm going to say Wolves 0, Liverpool 1. Last game, ladies and gentlemen, the last game. Chelsea versus Arsenal at Stamford Bridge, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea versus Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. And obviously, we murked Arsenal 2-1. Well, obviously, I remember when Haroon said they controlled the first half, which was absolute BS, because they didn't control the first half. They controlled the first 30 minutes. Yes, Haroon. You controlled the first 30 minutes of the first half, right? And then once we brought on Jorginho, we had your ass for jokes. And since Aubameyang can't play in that game, it's now peak times. So I don't know how Arsenal are actually going to play. I don't know how they're going to set up. They don't have their golden boy anymore, the top goal scorer. So it's going to be very, very hard for them, to play against us. So you know what I mean? For that game, because obviously you got a red card at, what was it? I think Palace or Norwich or something like that. Got a red card. Obviously our home form hasn't been brilliant. When you look at Chelsea stats against Newcastle, we had more possession of the ball. We couldn't break them down, and then obviously there was capitulation at the end, and we just capitulated at the end, which did annoy me a lot because we had so much possession. I think we had 70% possession of the ball, and to lose like that really did piss me off. Against Arsenal, getting a draw against Sheffield United obviously wasn't good enough for them because they do need 3 points. They need to win the game, and it's going to be very, very tough for both of us, if I'm honest with you. But Arsenal need it more. We need it as well, because I know damn well United are going to beat Burnley, and that means if they beat Burnley, they're going to be 2 points behind us. With top 4, and we have to win this game, if I'm honest with you. It's a must-win for us if we really want to, remain in the top 4. I feel as though we will be able to do it. It's going to be very, very tough the way Arsenal set up, because they've got the likes of Martinelli, Lacazette, Ozil as well, because Ozil, for some reason, turns up against us. It's going to be very, very hard. Nicolas Pepe as well. His confidence is starting to shine as well. So it's something that we have to be wary at Stamford Bridge. I just feel as though, I don't know if Pulisic's injury is recovered or whatever, but we need to bring him back. Tammy Abraham, he hasn't been banging in the goals as much, but I still want to start him for this match because he didn't score against Arsenal. If Mustafi's playing, then we have a chance. If Mustafi's playing, then I feel as though we're going to score. I don't know how Arsenal will set up. Mikel Arteta obviously knows what happened in the last game, and he's obviously going to, figure out a way how he's going to play against us. Maybe he's going to change system. Maybe he's going to move some players around. I don't know, but I feel as though we will still be able to get the win. It's going to be very, very tough. I think we'll have to score like the 90th minute or some crap like that, because our home form isn't amazing, so I'm quite worried about this. So yeah, for this one, I'm going to say Chelsea 1, Arsenal 0. I was going to say a 1-1, but I'm like, nah, but Bunnet, I feel as though we'll be able to do one over Arsenal again, because their defence is just shocking. They've got David Luiz and they've got Mustafi there. So do you know what I mean? I think it's going to be shocking. Hopefully they don't play Socrates or anyone like that, and if they do, then it's going to be very, very tough for us. Their midfield isn't solid. I think if we go at them in the first half and we put them on the ropes, then we will have them. But it just depends how we start in the first 10 minutes. It all depends who wants it more, and we should honestly just press them from the start. Because I know these guys are going to press. They're going to press hard on our arses, right? Because they need the win more than us. They need it more than us. Because if they don't get this win, or if they draw this game, their ass is going down. Their asses are going down that table. So if anything, they're going to push for it even more. All right. So, and we saw the way they played against Manchester United. All right. So we shouldn't get complacent and think, oh, they won't do it against us, because they have turned us over at the bridge. They have done it. Right. It was years ago, but they have done it, and they might do it again. So our asses have to be on this. All right. And that's the end of this Premier League prediction, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you smash the like button. Click that subscribe button as well. All right. Obviously, we want to hit 2K at the end of the year, so I would honestly appreciate it if you did it as well. I'll see you guys in a bit, and peace.